What's good, everybody? I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you to the new subs. If you're not a sub and you're one of the, I think it's like 70, 75, I haven't looked at the analytics in a while. Percent of those who are watching have not subbed yet. What are you waiting for? And if you are a new sub, please make sure that you go back and watch my previous content. I got, a bunch of videos up there, and I do appreciate questions and all that. Some of these I've already answered before. I'll answer them again, but I just want to make sure that you've watched the content and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for the new subs. Thank you for the likes. Please make sure that you like this video as well as any other video that I put out. I really would appreciate it. All right. So let's get into it. I've got a couple of videos for us today. I watched this from another young lady who I would consider an auntie, Miss Dee Dee. And she put out, some thoughts about high value men going after high value women. And this whole term has been, this whole thing, man, this whole high value thing, man. It blew up under Kevin Samuels. And people are trying to decide what is a high value man, what is not a high value man, and all that. So I'm not, I guess I have to define it what that is. And but we'll define it after these videos. So check out these two videos and then we'll come back.
How good she looks and just fall for that. These men are looking for much, much more. So when women ask for these types of men, I don't think that they're taking into consideration how these men think, how hard they've worked to achieve what they have, and how they are looking for something more valuable in a woman. When you hear women say they know their worth, they're not talking about the fact that they've worked on themselves spiritually, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. They're talking about their accomplishments most of the time. Most of the time, they're talking about their accolades, how they've worked hard to achieve a certain business, or their degrees and things of that nature. They're tying their education to their worth, and that is not the same. And so when you have that, there's a miscommunication in what men actually want versus what women are looking for. So when women talk about they want these men who are stable, good men making good money, have morals and values, and are looking for a good woman, this is why a lot of women do not measure up for these types of guys, because they think that their accolades, their degrees, their business, their jobs, them being able to take care of themselves qualifies them for the type of man who has worked on himself spiritually, mentally, all of these things. And it's not tied to just the amount of money that he makes and the type of job that he has. He's actually worked on himself, and he's gotten himself to a place to where he's prepared for a wife and a family and to build something that's real. See, a lot of these women get by, and they have been used to getting by on their looks. At least the ones that I'm hearing from, they're speaking out and they're saying they're tired of just the aesthetic. They're not pleased only by what you look like. They're not going after just a big button smile, a cute face, that beautiful face card. They're looking beyond that. They're not intrigued by that anymore. They're not intrigued by what you look like. They're not intrigued by these big butts, because they see it all too often. It's something that's a daily thing that you can go on social media and you can see women with big butts, whether they're real or not. You can go on and see women half dressed, women half naked. You can go online and just see it all. So it's not something that's so intriguing to men anymore. It's not something that men look at and just they gawk at and be like, oh my God, I gotta have it. No, because they see a lot of it. So they're desensitized to it. It is not something that they're readily jumping for now. So what that means is the fact that women cannot please men with just their looks and their bodies means they have to bring more to the table. And this is something that a lot of women cringe to talk about. They cringe when they're being asked, what do you bring to the table? Because for so many women, they are the table, and they think that they're the table because they've been getting by their looks, their bodies, and the fact that they have a vajayjay. And that's no longer what is intriguing to men, because they know that does not qualify you as being a good woman. Looking for quality women that they can bring home to their families and blend in with their families and build lives with. So being attractive and having a good body is no longer a major qualification for what men are looking for in.
Okay, so we're back. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Before I define what high value is, what I want to do is I sent this to a friend of mine, and she commented on it, and she did give me permission to use her comments. So I'm going to play that for you. So check this out.
Oh, what she said was a lot because it sounds like I. It don't sound like that's. It sounds like that's not what men want because, for example, Kevin Samuels. Most men jump on his back. They love him, and a woman could be like, I got a PhD, I got this, and then he do the little thing. I got a PhD. So the first thing he says, how much you weigh? You a 5 at best. And even like when women say, oh, I want a man who makes this and that. And then the first thing the man says, you ain't even cute enough for that. So it kind of like, it goes against what she's talking about. Because when women talk about their achievements or things of that nature, men go back to looks, big back. That's where I got big back from because, I'm a part of, I'm a part of different groups. And, I try not to start debating, but sometimes I get reeled in. And so a lot of men, she hit the wall. Like you had, like the last time you went live, it was some man, Philip. He was like, oh, they old, they hit the wall. Now they don't want no man no more. And, he was just going right back into looks. But she's saying that's not what it's about. And now you have to bring something more than your looks and your vajayjay. But then these men, if you don't talk about your achievements and your goals and stuff like that, they go right back to looks. Don't nobody want no big back and flat butt and lashes and wigs and it always goes back to looks. So why? If men of value or men of substance aren't necessarily looking for looks, then what are they looking for? If you're not looking for looks and they don't care about and they don't care about your credentials, your education to a certain magnitude, then what is it that they're looking for? Now I'm confused. I mean, it just sounds like a chasing the carrot moment. Like you just like, go this way. No, go that way. No, go this way. So are we to look pretty? Are we to have education? What is it? Cook meals? I mean, what is it? Is it all of it? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so you've listened to that, right? So she's trying to say that there's a mixed messages being given. So that's why I wanted to address it, obviously, in this video, which is why you clicked on it, which is what you saw in the thumbnail, all that kind of stuff. So let me just say this: that the term high value, I tried to remember what Kevin Samuel said, and I actually Googled it before, and I can't really find it. And some of it was buried in 10-minute conversations. I didn't really want to sit through 10 minutes of video to figure out his 6 points. But let me just say this: what I think the grand parameter of his definition of high value is someone who's making a certain amount of money over 6 figures. I think 10,000 a month would put you at 120 grand a year. I'm not sure if that's before or after taxes, but let's just say 10 grand a year, and at least. All right, I had to take a phone call there. So there seems to be mixed messages that are going on, and that's kind of what I wanted to cover in this video. Is what are the mixed messages? Is it that men are very, very physically based? You gotta have, according to the system that I played, you gotta have a nice figure, no flat butts, hair, makeup, nails, all that kind of stuff, right? Hit the wall type of language. Or is it that men want someone who's on their level, yada yada yada? It's a good question, And I think that, when we speak, obviously we're speaking in generalities. And I think that, are we saying we want it all? I don't know. That's a good question. People have asked me in particular. I don't care. And let me be very clear about this. When we say we don't care, it doesn't mean we don't want that. What we're saying to you is don't lead with that. I think that can speak to the vast majority of men. 80, 90, 95% of men would say, don't lead with your degree. Tell me what you about your feminine qualities that can add and benefit to my life. And this is for a high value man. Did I finish defining that? I don't even know if I did. High value man. High value man is a man, according to Kevin Samuels, a man who makes a certain amount of money and has LinkedIn level connections. In other words, let's just say I own a bus company, or maybe I own my own little small construction company, right? I got maybe 100 employees, small little construction company. Can I make a phone call and make things happen? And can people call me and make things happen? So I'm making a certain amount of money, and I'm at some level LinkedIn and seen as somehow important within the community. Those are, I think, essentially. I think he's when I used to listen to him, it was like 6 points. But I think if you boil it down, that's what it is. So the amount of money that you have, and essentially the amount of status, and that you can make things happen around you, right? So when I was a member of the police department, right? So but people would call me about make this happen, do this, do that, right? So hire members of police departments, obviously chiefs, all that kind of stuff, right? So I think that those are different. Those are the different types of things. And again, if you maybe you're a high, I met some people who are high ranking members within the Home Depot organization who are making things happen within Home Depot, right? So you can make phone calls and all this kind of stuff. So that's what that is. So are you with one of those people? And those types of people, and notice I didn't say education. Right? So you can own your own construction company and just have a high school diploma. Education is not on there. So So that type of man who's doing it. I remember, if you haven't watched the video, I did a reaction about what men want, and these were high value men. These were construction workers, tech guys, and the majority of them. I put the numbers on the screen. If you haven't watched that reaction, go back and watch it. The majority of the guys want to stay at home wives, right? So when we're saying we don't care about your education, what we're saying is we don't. It's not a motivating factor in us. If there's a woman with a master's degree who's exhibiting, all things being equal, well, all things wouldn't be equal then. So if you put a woman with a master's degree and attitude, and I'll put a screenshot up. If you put that up versus a woman who's got nothing going on, she's got a high school diploma, but a great personality, great cook, et cetera, then a guy, I think, would probably choose her, but he would still want her. I think that it would be fair to say he would still want her to level up in some case. So let's just say a guy meets two young ladies. One's got a master's degree. She's, doing whatever, but he doesn't really like her, and she can't cook, can't clean, can't do the feminine home care type of stuff that he's want. Remember, I'm talking about quote unquote high value man. And then he meets at the same age, 25-year-old girl who's a high school grad, and maybe she's going to school at night or going to school online for her associates. Doesn't have it yet, but she can cook, she can clean, in better shape. He's going to choose that one almost all the time and just make sure that she finishes up. I think that that's a fair generalization. If anything would change that, it would be the current dating market and him not wanting to get with someone who is not on his level financially because of the potential of divorce. But I think in traditional relationships, that would be the dynamic that people would go towards. So when we're saying we don't care about it, it's not saying that your degree is irrelevant, but how does it benefit a guy that you want? I was listening to I listen to a lot of podcasts. I tell you that all the time, right? So this guy made a really, really good point. He said that a guy that ladies have been convinced to perform labor. In other words, go to school, work on your degree, your career, advance, and then price themselves out of the very market about the men that they find to be attractive. So the higher up you go, the less your pool that you have around you. And I'm assuming you're listening to this because you want this, that, and the other. So if you don't want this and any other, I can't imagine why you'd be listening to this or commenting on it. You're free to do so. I'm just curious as to why you would do that. All right. So what are we saying about this? We're saying that another good point is that education by the mother is really important when you talk about the education of the children. The more educated, studies have shown that the more educated the woman is, then she will then you will have better educated children. So that's just another generality. So yeah, your education matters, and I certainly want I certainly would prefer an educated woman. I put this out there before about stop dating these people. Said to me, stop dating master's degrees, this, that, and the other. Listen, those you like who likes you, right? If I click on somebody, talk about intimidation and stuff. I click on somebody and they're like, oh, you got this educated degree. What do you want me for? Okay, because that's not in particular what I'm looking for. And what I'm looking for is something different. So your degree doesn't really matter. I think I'm trying to explain, why it doesn't matter. To a lot of guys, some people it does, right? So there are certainly men out there who said, "Listen, I am a CEO of a company and I need an educated woman." I'm sure that there are people like that, but I think in general, it just doesn't mean anything to us. It just doesn't. Again, when I say it doesn't mean anything, I'm saying don't lead with that, and what you should lead is your homemaking skills and your femininity. So that's what that is. So are men speaking out of both sides of their mouth? I actually am able to hear, what the men are saying. This is what we're saying, and what the women are seeing, right? Well, it just comes back to body. But then if I don't have this stuff, well, then you say I'm doing nothing and I'm a gold digger, right? So it can seem to be very, speaking out of both sides of your mouth ish, right? Right. So and as a woman, like, which one do you do, right? Should I go to school or this, that, and the other? Here's my advice. Number one is I think that you should definitely go to college and level up. I think that Ebony K. Williams, the way that the place where she came into now in life as a 40-year-old woman who's now pregnant or whatever she is, said it right. When you're in school, you will never be around a greater pool of individuals who can who are on your level and probably moving and advancing up. So that's the time to not only get your bachelor's, master's, JDs, whatever you want to go for, as well as get your MRS degree, to get your Mrs. degree. So you should work on both at the same time. You should work on the inner work as far as psychological healing, therapy, and all that kind of stuff. Work on the outside, do that. But when you want to talk to a man, I think that you ought to lead with, listen, I want to be a mother, I want to be a wife, and here's my qualifications for that. I can cook, clean, I can sew, I can my grandmother used to tell me, you got to be able to cook, clean, sew, and iron, because you might meet a woman who won't be able to do it. That's what my grandmother used to tell me. So I think that you ought to be able to do those types of things, and I think that you ought to lead with those things. But when you lead with your accomplishments, when you lead with that kind of thing, then it can be a turnoff. So you've got that going for you, and the things you ought to lead with, yes. And your physical presentation matters. That's number one. So let's put that as number one. Your physical presentation matters. If you don't have a degree and you don't have a good paying job, you ought to get in shape. You can just walk every day. You ought to watch what you eat and just get in shape, and you'll get heads turning towards you. So lay off the chicken and fried chicken and ice cream and all that kind of stuff, and the gravy, biscuits, and all that. Lay off all that. Get in shape, number one. Number two is work on your self-improvement. We're going to call that just overall self-improvement. Your psychological, your therapy, and get all that together. And then, of course, third, because you can't walk into a marriage or a job with all this psychological damage and baggage, right? So third would be making sure that you're together financially, right? As far as get your education, try to get a good job. And if you still want to be a stay-at-home husband, then you've got, number one, the education, things go wrong. You've got you've got the culinary skills. I don't know if I put that on there, but you ought to develop the homemaking skills. This idea that women, and I've met women who can't cook, can't clean, all this kind of stuff. Like, listen, I don't even talk. Listen, we don't got nothing to talk. We have nothing to talk about after that. But that's me. Because I can cook and clean and all this kind of stuff. I take care of my house, except when I can't find my socks. So I can do all that. So So you have to you got to be a well-rounded, well-balanced individuals. So what do I think a woman should lead with? You ought to lead with your femininity, and I'm going to include your body in that. Your physical presentation. It matters. It matters. So lead with your physical presentation. Do what you got to do in order to present the best version of yourself. Not naturally. I'm not in favor of BBLs. Yes, you can get your teeth fixed, but I'm not in favor of all the fakes. I'm not in favor of the fake stuff. I'm not in favor of no. I'm not in favor of fake stuff. So, the only real cosmetic thing that I'm okay with, me personally, is just getting your teeth fixed. Well, let me see. Is there anything else? Well, obviously glasses. I gotta think about that. I don't want to just, the raptor claws. I'm not in favor of that. I'm not in favor of. But it doesn't matter what I'm in favor of. It matter what the guy's looking for and all that kind of stuff, right? So figure out what they want. Or the guys that you like. So fit, feminine, friendly. Get in shape. Work on your attitude. Educate yourself. Go as far as you want to go. And if you want to advance in your careers, then that's fine. But understand, if you want to have a baby and you want to do certain things, then you need to, put yourself in a position where you have a man who's going to be financially able to take care of you and the lifestyle that you have provided for yourself. And so is it necessary to go to college? Obviously not. It's not necessary. People are making good money as doing all this, quote unquote gig works, estheticians, and doing nails, and so certifications and all this. Yeah, college is not necessary. I don't think it doesn't make you any more or less attractive to me. I don't think it makes you. Yeah, I really have to think about that. If I met somebody with a high school diploma and a college degree, would it make them more attractive to me? Probably not. It's still going to come down to attitude, femininity, and cooperation, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I certainly don't want a dumb woman, right? When I have to show every little thing you can't, can barely. Well, I don't want to be pejorative here, but people struggle with what they struggle with. But I think that your femininity would get you a lot farther than relying on those types of things. So I think I beat that to death. As far as the men speaking on both sides of their mouths, I mean, I think that you're probably right, that they probably do want both. They probably want a woman who's on her game, who knows how to handle things, who, if things happen to me, they want to know that you can handle it, right? If I need you to balance this budget and do this and make this appointment and do whatever, they want a woman who's capable of doing that without having to ask a whole bunch of questions, and I got to walk you through it and hold your hand, right? I mean, in that sense, you're not a helpmeet. You have not helped me if I got to babysit you in order to do something. I want you to be able to, here's how to get this done and whatever. And I can imagine there's a lot of frustration from the women as well. But I'm making this about the men, but let me just say this about the women, right? Because I was listening to a podcast early this morning, and they were saying, listen, some of the ladies were like, listen, why can't I send you to the store and you come back with the right thing? I don't know how that's possible in today's day and time. I think that if I'm at the store, listen, I send a picture. Is this what you want? Right? Because I'm not walking back in the house with the wrong thing. So some of that is going to take communication and learning how to navigate this modern era that we're living in. So just coming back with the wrong stuff is just crazy to me. So yes, man, I don't think that I think that they are speaking. It can seem as if they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth. Just work on yourself, physically, therapy, psychologically, and emotionally, and then also have a backup as far as the degree. Do not leave with the degree, your accomplishments. You're the CEO, you're the boss, you did this, you got this. It can come off as masculine, and some people, men go back and forth about this. I think that for some men it is intimidating, but even to a man who's whatever you have accomplished, he's accomplished more, it doesn't make you any better. Generally, are there some men who may want that? Probably, yeah, but generally they don't. So I'll leave it off there. I think I said enough. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Much love and peace, everyone.